out of Sabbath, and I have a word from the Lord, and it also comes from Prophet Isaiah chapter 1. It's for the children of the Lord that are seeds of evildoers, which are corrupters, whose whole head is sick, whose whole heart is faint, from soul to foot, from the sole of the foot to the head. There is no soundness in it, but wounds and bruises, sores that have not been closed, neither bound up. Strangers devour the land, making it desolate as overthrown by strangers. To what purpose is your multitude of your sacrifices unto me? Says the Yahweh Abba Allah Almighty. That is God. He says, I am full of burnt offerings. I delight not in the sacrifices of the animals. No more vain oblations. Incense is an abomination unto me. He says, your hands are filled with guiltiness. Wash yourself, make yourself clean. Put away the evil of your doings from before my eyes. Cease to do evil. Meaning, like, be slow to it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Be hesitant. Learn to do well. Seek judgment. Relieve the oppressed. Judge the fatherless. These are the verses. It's Isaiah chapter 1, and then these are the verses. Okay. Plea for the widow. Be willing and obedient. Eat from the good of the land. And this is in heavy reference to cannibalism. If you refuse and rebel, you shall be devoured by the sword. Remember, the Bible says, he who lives by the sword will be unalived by the sword. How is it that the faithful city becomes a harlot, which is like a witch? It was filled with judgment, but now it has people who unalive other people. So we have, like, kings. And then I went ahead and I asked God, how many times do I have to tell them this? And then I went on to study Malcolm X, because every time I read the Bible, I get put into like a deep sleep, and then I get like a dream with visions, and then I wake up and I'm like, all right, let me read something else, because I am very human, and so I like to study history as well. So of course I went into the book of Malcolm X, his autobiography that was written by his friends and his family. Once again, I'm constantly always, he's a big inspiration for me. So, I read the book once again for like the millionth time and took down some notes for you guys. Malcolm X stung our consciousness and awakened our minds. People would be taken back and lash back, talk about his mom, knowing that deep down his questions were real and people had no real answers for them. When people were confused, Malcolm illuminated. When they were timid, Malcolm emboldened. Malcolm was a messenger of messengers. He defended the insulted, exposed the lies. If they were injured, he threatened. With the truth of Western and American history, racism has been America's history from the beginning. And Malcolm X helped us to realize that this problem was not a civil matter of rights, but a human matter of rights. And he always used to say, tell it like it is. And he used to say, is that wrong or right? Of course, it is absolutely right. Because gaining clarity and sharing it defines true leadership. Never forget that advocating for social equality or equal rights is an appropriate crime, which is tagged dangerous, radical, and un-American. They have lawyers like John Hoover to convict these people after surveillance. They also assign agents to the task of finding reasons for arrest. Hoover and his minions have imprisoned Marcus Garvey, may he rest in peace, accusing him of nonsense violations. It took them 3 years of cognating and to indict him of charges on mail fraud. Malcolm X was also smart. He caught up to things. That's why he had to be watched. They burned down his homes. They unalived his father, and they put his mom in a crazy hospital for life. Then they unalived him in front of his wife and children. Guys, this is what happens when you decide to share the truth. you will receive repercussions. What made Malcolm X so different from the rest of the civil rights advocates that we were used to was the fact that he had a unique background. You see, this unique background, no, that's actually not him. That's Marcus Garvey's family. Let me see if I can find. Guys, it's Marcus Garvey, not Gravy. Sorry. I don't know why I always do that, but in case you didn't know, Malcolm X had some ties to the Garvey family. So in the book, it talks about how he pretty much grew up in Mason, Michigan, and he went to like a Mason high school. And I thought that was kind of cool, you know, that he grew up in a different town compared to most people. But I also thought it was ironic that in the book they show a lodge. I think considering his background, you know, I think that's what fired him up with the Enlightenment. And I think that's what put his family in danger. Muhammad used to be a part of the Nation of Islam with Elijah Muhammad. In this picture, you will see the founding father of the Nation of Islam. I'm not going to say too much, but if you know, you know. Malcolm X was a lover of words, and he knew the definition of words. He showed what they meant to people who were maybe spiritually or mentally incapable of figuring this out for themselves. I think this is a rare picture of Malcolm X, so I'm going to show it off because